Hello, my name is Nicole, and I just want to take this time out to just share some information that I came across that is actually troubling in my spirit. And it's something that I will tell you that if we don't get it together as parents early on, later on in life, we're going to end up creating children who become adults that have similar lives. Children that end up making the same mistakes early on and then carrying those mistakes into adulthood. And then before long, their lives start looking like our lives. Then the next thing you know, they're trying to figure out how to deal with things, how to shake some stuff off that we put upon them. I'm going to make this message as plain as I possibly can, so please bear with me. Because I know that some of you all are young parents and some of you all are older parents. And I will tell you that the older parents are guilty of setting some things up in their conversation, in the things that they buy, even in the way that they advise their adult children on how to live their lives. And those adult sons and daughters, they notice some patterns after a while. They start seeing the writing on the wall that, oh my goodness, I'm living my mother's life. Oh my goodness, I'm living my daddy's life. And you find that you never really made the decisions, the kinds of decisions that really satisfied you, but instead you made the kind of decisions that satisfied everybody around you. I'm talking to someone out there because, see, you're starting to recognize that all the advice that your mother or that your father gave you actually put you on a similar path. Okay? I'm going to use an example. Back in the day, weak men were called henpecked. Basically, these were men who did whatever their wives told them. But I will tell you that there are those women who I would consider are rooster-pecked. These are the types of women that do whatever their husbands tell them to do, even if it means that it's going to cause them much heartache later on, even if it means it's going to cause divisiveness and they're not going to lose friends and they're not going to have close relations with relatives. They're rooster-pecked women. And please do find the audio on my channel about rooster-pecked women, because I'm not going to go into that today, but rather I'm going to stay focused on how children's lives, sons and daughters' lives, adults, are impacted in ways that God never intended by parents who want to see mini me's. They want to create mini me's. And this really shows up during holiday celebrations. Oh, you really start to see how the parents' creation is doing. You start to notice some things. Wow, she is living a life very similar to her mother's. He is living a life very similar to his father. You'll sit down and you'll interview and you'll find out that maybe they didn't choose the same career path, and maybe they don't have the same amount of children, or they didn't end up getting pregnant the same time that their parents back in the day did. But you still see some patterns, though. It's something interesting about genes. But then it goes beyond just genes. When that parent is in that child's ear, son or daughter's ear, almost daily, they're molding and they're shaping. They're doing things that actually cause problems in the marriages. The man cannot move on. He can't enjoy any of his relationships because his mother is always saying what she thinks. And then it doesn't help because she has trained him to always come to her. Oh, is there something that you need? Oh, how's everything going on? Oh, do you need me to come over there? Do you need me to watch the children? She's always making herself available so the man cannot stand on his own 2 feet. And then all of the disruption from these parents who just can't seem to let go ends up causing problems, especially in those relationships where divorce has taken place. The distance starts to come about because she, the parent's mother, or he, the father, is basing their advice on everything that they went through. And then they're giving their personal experience to their son or daughter only for them to regurgitate the same foolishness. I will tell you that the Lord told us to train up a child, but he didn't say to train up adult sons and daughters. Oh, he didn't say that. And those that are not into the Word of God and they don't have the Holy Spirit guidance is going to go to that parent who they believe does have the Holy Spirit, and they're going to listen to everything that that parent says, good, bad, and otherwise, rather than looking at the situation for what it is. I am only emulating my mother. I'm only emulating my father. This is another generational curse. This is another cycle of the same old foolishness. Why is it that we keep doing these things in our family? Because you keep listening to the same people. Because you keep taking what's going on in their household and putting it upon you. Because it's familiar, because it's something that makes you feel good in some strange, twisted way. So you say, Mama had the Christmas tree, so I'm going to get the Christmas tree. And Mama told me that I should get married because I don't want to burn in hell. So I'm going to rush and I'm going to get married. And then Daddy told me that I need to watch who I'm going out with and everything. So you know what? I'm going to not only do that, but I'm going to be a daddy's girl and do everything that he wants me to do. Lord Jesus. And so you have these women who they keep turning down dates and they can't find anyone that is compatible to them because their dad is always in their ear telling them about how this man is no good and that one's no good, when all he's doing is trying to set up a situation so that she never finds anyone and that she will come back home only to take care of him. You see? Oh, there are selfish parents out here. And the sad part about it is that if you don't recognize the pattern, if you don't see how that parent is manipulating you in such a way, then what you're going to do is you're going to take what you've learned from them and put it upon your children. Now, you may not have children yet, but sooner or later you will. And then you're going to start saying to yourself, I am raising my children in a way that my parents have raised me. And did it really work to my benefit? Now, there are some things, yes, that parents do that make us better citizens, that, help us along the way. But then there are some things that parents do that actually set us back and cause us to say, wait a minute, that may have been good for them during their generation, but that's not good for me. That is, if you're sitting down and taking that time out to recognize certain things. But I will tell you that so many people are so blindsided. They're so blindsided by these sorts of things because they're too busy working, watching television, surfing the internet, doing the daily activities of eating, sleeping, and being married, that they don't take the time out to sit down and say, my life is looking a lot like my mother's. My life is looking a lot like my father's. My life is not as happy as I thought it was. No wonder I can't seem to get ahead, because I'm doing things that may have worked for them back in the day, but it's not working for me. The Lord says it's time for some of you all to download some new information when it comes to parenting, when it comes to dealing with your life and your personal experiences as opposed to what mama and daddy did. Because you see, as we move into the future with all this new technology and new laws and, the way people behave with one another and so forth, I hate to say it, but relationships, friendships, all of these things are going to take a serious hit. They're already, some of them already, but I'm talking about those core relationships. The mother, the father, the sister, the brother, those ones. Because everybody's doing what nowadays? Texting, email. We went through that where folks didn't want to pick up the phone. They wanted to email. Now we're going through, they don't even want to pick up the phone that they're on, but they want to text, you see. And then some people aren't very polite with their texts. They can't text you back. They can't follow up and so forth. So the relationships are taking a hit. So if the relationships are taking a hit like this and we're not building a connection with one another, then eventually what happens is we all get into these little, shall we say, these little cells, if you will. It's almost like a jail cell that we create for ourselves. There's limitations on, who we talk to and where we're going and all this other stuff based on what this one text or, this beep that goes off. And, just so long as you're not doing too much talking. I mean, even people don't want to do too much talking or listening. Can you just send me a text? You see? Now, the pro to all of this is that means that there'll be less parents having the ability to control you using the phone, you see. They won't be able to permeate your ear gate. But what they can do, those that are so, bent on controlling their children, is they can make it so that the only time you talk to them is through whatever device they choose. You see, because they've already got you trained. So it becomes this thing of don't text me, you call me. Okay. And that right there should be a clear sign to some of you all that, yeah, I am talking about your mom and I'm talking about your dad. Okay. Because they've already set it up for you on how our relationship's going to be. I don't care about everybody else's relationship, but I'm going to tell you, this is what I want you to do. And then those that can't seem to get out of the grip of their parent, they're going to say, okay, all right. And then once again, we're back in the ear gate again, talking, telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing and on and on. You see, this is something that you could prevent. For those of you all who are young adults, sons and daughters, you could prevent some of this simply by gradually breaking away from the programming. It's like watching television too much. You know that you're watching television too much when things around your house isn't getting done, when relationships are suffering, when you're not going to work on time because you're staying up all night watching television. Okay, so you know what to do. You got to cut back, right? You got to cut back on the television program. Well, hello, check out my audio on parental programming. You've got to cut back, right, on the parental programming. How are you going to live a life that is unique from your parents if you always have your parents in your ear? Something comes up, Mom, I need money. So you call her up. She's going to give you some advice, only for you to come back to her and ask her for more money, because a lot of times the advice isn't advice. All it is control talk, control speech. That's all. I want you to do this, that, and the other. Okay. And then next thing you know, you're back in their presence again. Some people don't know how to advise. They don't know how to give you the step-by-step plan. When you're in a money crunch, this is what you need to do. You need to make sure that you have 2 major credit cards. One is for emergency and one is for, clothing or something that might happen to come up that you might need. Okay. Then another thing you need to do is make sure that you're taking a portion of your monies out of your paycheck and putting them into a savings account. Then this way you don't have to worry about calling up your mom and dad. You see, but some parents will just, they'll give you the advice, but then they'll set it up so that, well, you're going to come back again and again and again. Oh, how's your relationship doing? Oh, it's not doing so well. That's okay. We'll help you out. Oh, what's up? Oh, you've got some issues? Okay, don't worry about it. We'll be there. We'll fix them. Oh, do you need something? Do you want something? Even if you don't have a problem, some parents are like that. Now, for some people, they'll say, well, that to me sounds like a blessing. It's great. Oh, yeah, it's great when you are struggling. And you're at the bottom. And God bless my parents, because when I was at the very bottom, it was absolutely wonderful for them to help me. But then there comes a point where you're not at the bottom anymore. So what are you still asking your parents for help for? You're not at the bottom. You're not suffering. You see. And then sometimes it's not even about asking for help. It's just that you want to listen to whatever's going on, and then you want to apply whatever they're telling you to your life. And you can get into trouble that way, because your life is different from your parents' life. And God, if you're a child of God, you know that God wants us to listen and obey him, not listen and obey mom and dad. Okay? Especially if we went to God with the information. If we went to God with the request. Why would you listen to your mom and dad's advice when you went to God himself? When you claim to be a believer, when you claim that God is speaking to you? Now, can God use your parents to give you some wisdom when you can't hear? Yes, that happens. But not every doggone day. Or every other day. Okay? But people make things happen. People will say, well, God said, and people will say that I was thinking about you and I looked into the scriptures and I saw this and that. But every day or every time when I talk to you, I don't know. It sounds like you have an agenda, Mom. Sounds like you have an agenda, Dad. What's going on? Some parents, I hate to say it, they'll use their issues when they need you. Now, we're not talking about when the child needs a parent or son or daughter, or adult son or daughter, but we're talking also about when parents will set scenarios up so that it looks like you're needed. Right? So now, just like they did certain things with their parents back in the day, their parents set situations up to get them to come running. Now they're going to do things in such a way to get you to come running. You see how the cycle repeats itself. Now, do all parents do these little sneaky, manipulative little things, controlling behavior and so forth? Absolutely not. Some of you all who are listening are saying, woo, I'm so glad that's not my parents. Okay. But you may have friends, you may have relatives that you can see. If you haven't seen, today your eyes are open, that there are some parents that we must have family traditions. We must have you here. We need for you, and like I said, in those holiday gatherings and funerals and weddings and so forth, you really get to see who has been programmed by their parent, that their life is really not their life. Oh, this is my life. Are you sure? Because you really look like your mom these days. Not just look like her. Your life looks like her. And sometimes God will use us to be the one to take that magnifying glass, even if they want to throw the magnifying glass out of our hand or take the magnifying glass and beat us up with it. But sometimes God is going to use us to hold up that magnifying glass and say, look, your life is emulating your mom and your dad. And it's not necessarily a good thing. Well, that's my mom and I'm close with her. That's my dad and I'm close. And our family has been this way for, there comes a point where things have to change, especially when there is no progress, but there's regress. So we can talk about family name and family wealth all we want. We can talk about what this one and that one has done and how much they have, accomplished and achieved and how you've benefited and all that to justify acting like your mom, really? To justify building a life based on your dad's experience? Really? Is that what this is all about? God just wants to make a bunch of puppets and robots in this world. I will tell you that some things in my personal life didn't have to come to the points that they did. I'm saying negative things. Okay. Let me be more specific. Negative things didn't have to take place had I paid closer attention to how my life was emulating other people's. Because sometimes it's not your parents that you emulate. Sometimes it's relatives. Sometimes it's friends. Because it looks good. It looks good. Their life looks good. And you want something similar. So next thing you know, you go and you take somebody else's dreams, somebody else's, thoughts, and then you want them to become your own. So then you go ahead and you start building up this life based on somebody else's ideology. Okay. Then once you build up the life based on what you think is good, what looks good. Yeah, well, that was their life, but somehow you make it a part of who you are. Then one day you wake up and you realize this isn't what I wanted. I had another plan. How in the world did I get here? Oh, yeah, that's right. You were in some weak moments where you cried and you said, okay, I'll listen to you because you're the best, most greatest advisor, friend, mentor, aunt, uncle, cousin. Okay. And so you listen to them during those weak moments. And then if you had this lover or date or what have you, and while you were in bed, you sat back and they were telling you all their dreams and so forth. So you said, oh, that sounds good. I want that for me one day. My Lord. And so it happened. So today, as you've noticed, is not about the scriptures, but I just wanted to share this with you because this is something that I see with so many people. They pretend as if their lives are their lives alone, when in fact they're living someone else's life. Well, thank you so much for listening. And as always, to God be the glory.